Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday. We're going to jump right into devotion today. Entitled today's Jesus is in the House, coming from Pastor's message that the Lord had given him, and he in return gave to us on Sunday. And again, echo what some of the other guys have said. Just as a minister, you get prepared, and then the Lord puts something on your heart to change right before it is a scary thing. Um, but appreciate his obedience and just a uh, wonderful message coming from Mark in chapter 2. Um, and again, he entered into Capernaum. Um, and after some days, it was noise that he was in the house. And that's where we get um, our devotion for the day. Verse 2 says, and straightway many were gathered together, insomuch that there were no room to receive them. No, not so much about the door. And he preached the word unto them. And so the fact that Jesus was in the house, and this is the room is packed, and you don't know the story, and you continue reading on through um, chapter 2 of Mark, you see that some friends had a buddy of theirs who was paralyzed, was in a bed, and they couldn't get him to Jesus, and so they go up on the roof, dig through, which was another great point, and lower him down that Jesus can minister to their friend. Um, but the point I got out of it and wrote down in my notes was Jesus when Jesus was in the house, and then at the end of verse 1 there, where it says, "And it was noise that he was in the house." Um, one of the hardest things to do is evangelizing to people that are lost, especially if it's family members. And so many times we use the excuse, "Well, I just don't know what to say to them." One thing that I've noticed in this revival, there's not been a lot of um, there've been a lot of things going on as far as people being invited and things like that. But the move of it is, and the same goes with Asbury. People want to see what's going on. Um, and if you listen to interviews at the Asbury, a lot of people say, well, they came just to see what was going on, see to test the spirit, to see if it was the Holy Ghost was there, or if it was just an emotional thing or whatever else. But one of the greatest things that we as the church can do to and get people in the church is, so many times we'll air out the business of the church and we'll talk about, maybe a nosy neighbor or somebody in row 4 who, hadn't been there in 3 weeks, or that the preacher was too long, or they sung songs we didn't like, or whatever it might be. But one of the greatest tools of evangelism that we can have is to let people know that Jesus is in the house. And truly, in this revival, and on any given Sunday, at our church, Jesus is going to show up. Jesus is there. And I think about that, what greater thing, no matter what it is that people need, sickness, emotional health, physical health, mental health, spiritual health, whatever else, Jesus is able to touch all of those things. Um, and so the fact that, hey, you should come to church. Why? Because Jesus is going to be there. Um, you know, how's life treating you? And then people can say, I'm having a rough day. It could be family related, it could be financial, it could be whatever else. And say, hey, you should come to church. And that's all you need to do, because it was noised that he was there. And straightway, because Jesus was there and word got out, wanting to see. Sometimes people is going to show up at church are just going to be naysayers. Okay, that's fine. If they're coming just to see what's going on or just to see how church is, um, once they're in the door, once they're in the church, um, that allows the Spirit to minister. And we've heard testimony after testimony in these last couple of weeks, who people who didn't want to come to the revival got tricked, thought they was going to the movies, and their friends decided to show up or whatever it might be. And the next thing you know it, they feel a love and a peace and, uh, an itchy heart, and end up giving their heart to the Lord. They're under conviction. And it was all because they heard, you know, that something was going on, that Jesus was there. Come and see what's going on at the revival. Well, the same could work for us. It don't have to be a revival. It can be any church service. Because here's what Jesus tells us in Matthew 28:19, which we've used many times. Go ye therefore and teach all nations. First thing you're going to say, well, I don't feel educated enough to teach people about Jesus. Well, just bring them to Jesus. Jesus is in the house, and the teaching can be done. And baptize them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. So go ye therefore and let them know Jesus is in the house. And, the Spirit can move and their life can be eternally changed. So pray that you got something out of this. You know, just remember this motivation to go to church on Sundays is Jesus is in the house. God bless you. Have a great day.